Last County Talk, we are live, episode 136 of the Pavis Perspective, Chesterfield preview, obviously a big game. George, are you calling it a derby game? I am.
It's not a county game.
No, it's a derby. No, it's a derby. It's a derby match for me. It is. We obviously don't like each other. We've had some great games in the past few years. Brilliant. Stretching back in recent memory to that Mark Ellis winner. If we're looking at maybe the last 5 odd years, fantastic moment when we were back in stadium. So, yeah, amazing. As always, we are powered by Better Bytes Computers. Please do check them out. Computer repairs or refurbishments, use the code Pavis Perspective. You will get a discount. We use them every single week in terms of streaming for you guys. And if you're listening back on Spotify, please do leave a 5-star review. It helps us out massively. We've got a lot of support recently. Well, this season, really, haven't we, George? And, a big thank you to that. Is helping us to produce the amount of content we do. Let's see who got with us this evening then. Plenty of you were already in well before the show. We've got Paul, Tony, Callum at a gig, so can't watch. Chickson being out on loan, ended our season. It could have done. But, yeah, appreciate you even messaging while you're at a gig. Richard, David, Luke says, even though don't normally get a chance to watch live. Great to have you with us, Luke. Adam, who's a channel member, evening. I see some of the media has been highlighting that Knott's point tally so far has come from bottom of the table teams are in a false position. Definitely something we're going to discuss, Adam. Tom, did you get your Chesterfield ticket? I did get my Chesterfield ticket, and I will see you on Saturday. Marcus, Ken, Chris, evening all. Thanks, Notts County Talk, for highlighting extra Chesterfield tickets. Managed to get one myself. John, Royston, Harry, Chris, plenty of you here with us this evening. So thank you for that. Should we give them the bad news?
Let's give them the bad news.
Half an hour before the show, our Chesterfield fan pulled out. So we do not have an opposition perspective of the game for a pretty big game as well. So really disappointed about that. But, these things do happen. Can't really be helped, can it? But disappointed. But
what is it now? Accrington and Chesterfield.
Yeah, they're on the naughty list.
Just the small clubs.
Yeah, they are. Just the small clubs, as you say. I was ready to ask, did you cry at Wembley? But I can't ask that anymore. Can't ask that anymore.
I did.
George,
Tom,
our anagram today is decent, isn't it?
Good one, yeah. A bit of a niche one, actually, isn't it, really?
Do you reckon? Let's see who can get this then.
I think it is.
Tonight's player anagram is Ache Storm. Ache Storm. Let's see if anyone can get that. Ache Storm. And also for a big game, we usually do this, but our poll question basically is, what's the result going to be? Are you a Notts fan that's thinking it's going to be a Chesterfield win? Is it a draw? Or is it going to be a Notts win? I don't particularly enjoy these, if I'm honest, George. Not away from home. I don't really enjoy these games. Where we won in the National League when I think Chickson scored the winner. Shout out to Callum. I was a bag of nerves the whole game. I mean, thinking back, Eli Sam scored there, and I think we lost 3-1 in the end. Mm-hmm. It's a big game for us in the context of the division, I think. A big game in the context of the division. Obviously, we're going to discuss the very, very boring, I'm going to put it, Northampton game, which was obviously on Sky. Oh, Alex is straight in with Hector Sam.
Good one.
That's got to be a record. Has to be. And then the amount of youth players on there. A couple of players, George, you will have seen online. We both did make the game that did not impress at all. Got to give our honest opinions of that. We've got to kick off. Let's kick off with Port Vale. Oof. What did you make of that? Because we did our It's All Black and White match day vlog. And a few people said that our player ratings were too harsh. We gave a range of, I think we gave the lowest as a 5. And I think we gave the highest as a 7, I think, from maybe a 7.5 from Jordan. What did you, reflecting on that, were we too harsh on our player ratings for that game?
No,
I don't think so.
Absolutely not. To be honest with you, to be honest, I think it's probably more the other way. To be honest, I think we're probably a bit reserved with being too negative sometimes, aren't we? So I think it's probably more the other way. If anything, I didn't think really that it was there for me, the performance.
I'll tell you what, Chris has made one good point, which I did think when I read the comments. Maybe we were a bit harsh on Bedu.
I said he could have been man of the match.
Yeah, but I was harsh on him. I was quite harsh on him. Roger says your player ratings were too kind.
Yep.
I don't know. I think you look at the standards we've got, and for me, a 6 is an average performance from my perspective.
Yeah,
a 5 for me is
for me. It's relative to the player as well. If a player, week in week out performs at a level, I think you're more inclined to give them a lower rating when they don't perform to that level. Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I think for me, a Matty Palmer 6 is a bad rating.
Yeah,
for Matty Palmer.
Yeah,
because I don't think I've ever given Matty Palmer less than a 7. Martin said, "I'll give your player ratings a 7." That's slightly above average, so I'll take that, Martin. Look at that, he got the mug in as well. Got about every single time. I just thought, do you know what came into my head? It felt like possession for possession's sake. And I think when you have the ball for so much of the game, you can look. It can stop it looking as bad as it was. Like if it was 50-50 possession, even if they didn't create anything, would have come out of the game thinking like that was absolutely shocking. But I think it wasn't like Gillingham. It was the same in the fact that we didn't take our chances early on in the game. But Gillingham, we sustained pressure for a lot of the game. Look, it cleared it off the line in the last minute from Bedu, I think, and we just ran out of ideas. We just really ran out of ideas, and we made it easy for them. I don't think it was. I really don't think it was a good performance. I think it was for me, it was the second worst performance of the season after Swindon, and we came out of Swindon with a win. But I don't know. I don't ever do this, but like it felt like going with 10 minutes to go, didn't it? It felt like just getting up and going, and I'd never do that. Like it was so poor. We were never going to score. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I think it was just frustrating. It really was frustrating because we sort of discussed it, haven't we? And you sort of briefly mentioned it there about the teams that we've played have sort of been lower down in the league, and it gives us a bit of a false position. And, it's true, I think. When we have come up against Gillingham that were, around us at the time, still are, I suppose, but we lost the game. And look, the performance was there, and on another day, like you said, you play that game 10 times, you win it 9 of those times.
I agree.
But you have to find a way to win. And we were sort of saying these things against Swindon, weren't we, where, the performance wasn't there, but we found a way to win. So, yeah, there's just obviously a massive angst, isn't there? Because we don't want it to mirror last season. And
do you know what?
Sort of at the moment feels like it could potentially go that way.
Yeah, exactly. Good start. 3 big injuries. And now we're not tailing. I'm not going to say we're tailing off, and I'm not going to be too negative. We're 1 point off top, but I don't want it to go that way. And you just said that you play that game 9 times out of 10 and you win, right? But we said that against Gillingham, so we can't be saying.
Yeah, but that's what game I was referencing. I was referencing the Gillingham game.
Oh, sorry. Yeah,
using that. I don't think you play that game 10 times. You win it against Port Vale.
Do you not?
No, I don't think the performance was there.
No, I don't know. I saw some people saying this is why we need a goal scorer. Like we've got plenty of goal scorers. Even with Jody out, we've got goal scorers. Like we have. We've got Dan Crowley. The issue was, and someone's mentioned it here, Dan Crowley was sat in front of the back 4 for most of the game. I would have preferred Matty Palmer to be there. Ian's just said this felt like Ian Birchnell possession with no real threat. I kind of get that. If we're looking at the league table now, I'm just trying to get the league table up. We played Morecambe, who are bottom, right? We played Accrington, who are second to bottom. We've played Carlisle, who are third from bottom. We've played Swindon, who are 4th from bottom. We've played Bromley, who are 6th from the bottom. We've played Tranmere, who are 8th from the bottom of the league. That's over half our games. Literally nearly played everyone at the bottom of the table. We go to the top, haven't played Walsall, played Gillingham and lost. Haven't played Barrow, haven't played Doncaster, played Port Vale and lost. Had to score a last-minute equaliser to draw with Fleetwood. Haven't played Crewe, haven't played Bradford, haven't played Newport.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't beaten anyone in the top 10.
Yeah, exactly, and that is a massive concern. And I know it's early on, and things can change and things can improve, but you've got to, even early on in the season, you've got to get that one over on teams in that position if we're looking to get promotion. Because if we end up going through the playoffs, teams will be going into that thinking, "Oh well, we've already done a job on these this season. We can do it again," and they have that sort of mental. Even for Notts, it's like that sort of mental barrier of we've lost to these already this season. Whereas on the flip side to that, it's like we can beat these, we've beat them before. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think we just need to be a little bit more decisive. I think sometimes it's like it looks like when we enter the 18-yard box, we're a little bit afraid to shoot at times. Obviously, not so much in games leading up to the last few games, but I think in the last few games, sort of, Gillingham, Port Vale, it looks like we're a little bit afraid to just take the go, take the shot, just have a go. Do you know what I mean? Even if it is a little bit speculative. Just go for it, pull the trigger.
If you look at when we've had a player that's, I know Dan Crowley does it quite often, but when you look at a player that's really confident shoot outside the box, he scored some screamers already this season from shooting outside the box, because teams don't expect us to shoot outside the box. Teams think we're trying to score that perfect goal and walk it in.
Yeah.
The threat against Port Vale seemed to only be, can we cross the ball? Can we put it on Jatta's head? And he was being marked by 2 players half the game, and the only time he got room, he forced a good save from their keeper, but it was at him. I know it was close range, it was at him. Some people in here saying, where is our goal threat? We do have goal threat, even though Jodie's not here. We do. We have Jatta, we have Crowley, we have Didsey. Someone said, where's Didsey? He's nursing a tight hamstring. I'm a bit worried about Kedwin. He had an unbelievable opportunity, I think, against Accrington to score, and he fluffed it. He needs a goal badly, really, really badly. A lot of people will talk about Tuesday night's game, talking about Giovanni Brown. Right now, you can be optimistic, but right now you can't say he's going to get goals for us. He scored 16 for Exeter a few years back, but you can't say right now that he's going to come up and pop up with 7, 8, 9 big goals for us, because that's not going to happen. If I look at his goal scoring record quickly, he scored 1 in 33 last season. He's had 1 goal scoring season where he scored more than 8. And did exactly as Mickey says here. I'm trying to remember, Mickey has said he looked disinterested, and we literally don't have time for that. When you've got Jody out, you can't have players taking up a spot and playing with 10 men that look disinterested. It might be his body language. He might not be disinterested. But Tuesday wasn't great, and the cameos I've seen him in weren't great. Against Carlisle, Maynard protecting players, said he did well, held the ball up. I didn't touch it for the first 15 minutes, and it was only when Scott came on and started to hold the ball up that we had anything to stop Carlisle looking to score past us. Ian says Brown kept getting the ball away on Tuesday. Is he a player that you can't play up there on your own though? I don't know. I'm hoping he comes good, but I need to see more from him. But he's not going to get a start ahead of Jatta and Didsey or Scott at this rate. So I think we do have goal threat. Someone's also commented that the defense is solid. Yeah, I agree. The defense is solid. But last season you needed I know it's only 2 games. You needed to score like 2 or 3 goals to beat us in some games. This season, the ones we've lost, you just needed to score 1. And momentum was gone by 60 minutes, wasn't it, against Port Vale? We weren't going to score. I don't think we were going to score. But let's draw a line under that. And let's answer that question that Adam asked right at the start, George. Do you think personally we are in a false position?
At this moment in time, I'd probably say yeah.
How false? I mean,
I'd say you'd say like mid-table, I suppose.
No, not mid-table.
Probably like just outside the playoffs.
I'd say playoffs and edge of the playoffs to just hovering around the end of the playoffs. I think for the teams we played.
Just
I look at the table and I feel like if we were to, like, those teams we've lost to as well, we were at home. And this is what makes me quite sad that Meadow Lane in that promotion season, you couldn't, other than Dagenham and Redbridge, like, that fluked it. If we talk about playing that game 9 times out of 10, honestly, play that Dagenham game 999 times, we win it out of 1,000. That was ridiculous. But in Meadow Lane you didn't come to Meadow Lane and get anything. And sort of, which game was first last year, Mansfield or Wrexham? I think it was Mansfield at home. Ever since then, I feel like we're not the hardest place to come to anymore. It's not that difficult. So, yeah, I think, would I be worried to face Warsaw? Would you be worried to face Walsall, Barrow, Doncaster right now? I would.
Of course I would, yeah. Of course.
Yeah. And then you look outside the playoffs, I would be concerned to play Bradford. I would. Crew, yeah. And then you've got that team sitting in 12th. I'm trying to read it out. I've never heard of this. Chesterfield.
Chester Zoo.
Is that a bus stop, Chesterfield? I've never seen it. You are Chesterfield. Anyway, we'll come on to that in a minute. I'm not being too downbeat. But come on. We also have Martin that didn't really do amazingly against Northampton, but I thought he showed a bit of a spark against Port Vale. Did you?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
He looks like someone that wants to run at players, at least, which Jody did. Martin's putting a bit of perspective on it here. He said Walsall just lost 6-2 at home recently. They did. Perspective. And they're top of the league. So, yeah. We also have the second highest number of goals scored in the league. So,
yeah, but that to me falls back on that we have played a lot of teams near the bottom that have probably conceded the most goals.
True. The only teams that played in the top 6. In fact, we haven't scored past.
Exactly.
I know Gillingham have a notoriously good defence, but Port Vale don't. Port Vale have a bang average defence. Port Vale have actually conceded more than us.
Yeah.
And it looked like, is it Jesse Deborah for them was like a world beater.
Yeah, very good.
So that did worry me a little bit, if I'm completely honest. Then we look at Tuesday. We just don't care about cup competitions, do we?
I feel like they've put a bit of a spin on it now, though. Do you know what I mean? I think before it was like a youth player would maybe make the bench, but now youth players are playing. Do you know what I mean? Which is, it's great. It's good to see, and it's great for them. And I think that can really, I think that helps the academy massively. Do you know what I mean? Hugely. Like, it gives them something to aim for. We could see a player break into the squad. Who knows?
Yeah.
But I think if you're not gonna take the cup competitions as in putting your best 11 out, I think that's the best way to go about it, because you can't really lose, because you can't criticize the youth players for too much, can you? Really?
No, I agree. I do agree with that.
I think it's been thought about in the right way now.
And Stuart Maynard's a big fan of youth. He's already said that before. I genuinely think we could see some breakthrough players in the next sort of 3 or 4 years from our academy. Now, what that does is that can save you an awful lot of money in the long run, and it can make you a lot of money. Because as much as you want players that come through the youth team to stay with you, you can earn some big money from that. Look at Keon Atete that went to Spurs. You can make big money. And I've already seen enough from some players that Reynolds, who I think, a couple more years or some more first team football could be there. Cisse looks really good. We got to see Ness playing that, who looks decent.
Yeah.
We've already talked about Brown. Cundy, I'm going to cut a bit more slack because he had a lot of time out of football with an injury. So I'm going to reserve judgment on him a little bit. But just seeing some of those youth players plays is really good. Obviously, so Gill, Sanderson, we're not seeing as much of. I'm not sure why. He got maybe 5 minutes at the end. I don't know if he's coming back for an injury or not, but there we go. So, on the whole, we have played some teams down there, but we're 1 point off top of the league, aren't we? So
Yeah.
You take that regardless. And if we had taken our chances against Gillingham, maybe not Port Vale, would be top of the league. So I think, we keep it going. Now, we've talked about form, this, that, the other. Does that have any bearing on Saturday's game?
Absolutely. I absolutely think it. 100%. Do you not think it does?
I think it depends on the temperament of your players. I think if you've got players that not can't handle the occasion, that really, really get up for it in like a feisty way, I think it can throw everything out the window.
Yeah, and I do feel like we've probably gained a bit more professionalism with the squad that we have this season. I don't feel like we can get pulled into too much. Do you know what I mean? Our players don't seem to have that sort of, I don't know. I think we had a few players last season that could easily get pulled into making it a scrappy game by lashing out, maybe. Yeah, I think we've sort of lost that, and we don't have that this season. So I do feel like it for the squad that we have now, it should sort of get the job done that's in hand. You know what I mean?
What about on the face of it? What do you think about the manager? Because I genuinely think, I'm not going back. I'm not saying this and keep going back to him, but Luke Williams in charge for a Chesterfield game. You're confident. He got it right at their place. He hadn't been in charge long at our place, but we came back and eventually got it right at Wembley. Stuart Maynard, I see him more. I don't see him as that like motivator, passionate speech kind of manager. I might be wrong, but I don't know. I think we'll go into it like you say, professional, calm. I'm going to be stood in the away in 10 minutes without 9 men. Kellen Gordon straight red and Macari red or something like that. But so you do think form's gonna impact this?
100%.
How much do you think the factor of being away does? Because being at home hasn't helped us in the last couple of games.
No, it hasn't. I think that could potentially fall into our favour a little bit, to be honest, because our away form's obviously been quite good. So I think, psychologically they'll probably be looking to put the last few home results to bed, I think.
Yeah.
Because obviously we've lost our last 3 games at home, haven't we? That's not good on paper. So I do feel like it could help the squad massively. Look, beating Chesterfield home or away is massive, but beating them away is huge, no matter what your home or away form is. So then that's something to build on. If we can beat Chesterfield away, we can definitely go on to sort of pick up some home form, can't we?
Yeah, they're 12th in the league, only 4 points off us.
It's tight, isn't it? Up top off.
It is. Walsall 19, Gillingham 19, Barrow 19, Doncaster 19, Notts 18, Port Vale 18. 1 point separates the top 6. And at the weekend, Grimsby down in 11th could be up as far as 5th. So yeah, it's early on. It's because there's some teams down there doing really, really poorly, like Morecambe, Accrington, Carlisle, and Swindon. So here's one for you. Notts are playing at away to Chesterfield. Which side in the league have the best home form?
Oh.
It's not Chesterfield. They've got exactly the same home form as us, 7 points from 5. Who has the best away form in the league?
Us.
Yeah, us. 11 points from 15. So that's promising, isn't it? Only conceded 4 away and scored 9. So who have we played away? Obviously, Bromley got the win. Swindon got the win. Carlisle got the win. And then we drew with Morecambe and Tranmere on the opening day. So that's good going into it. We've got the form. Chesterfield, if you look at the form of the last 5 games, we've got 7 points. Chesterfield have 6 points. They've played some really tough teams, though. They've just come off the back of Walsall, Doncaster recently, and Port Vale, who they also lost to. So, yeah, it's evening itself out. How strong do you think their side is? I thought they'd got a really quite aging side. but it's working so far, isn't it? Look, Will Grigg 33. Who else? Ollie Banks 32. Tom Naylor 33. Dunkley 32. They have a couple of younger players in there as well. Mandeville 28. But there are some older players in that side. Paddy Madden being one of them, who I thought was outstanding last season for Stockport.
Yeah.
Concerned about their side? It's going to be Dobber again if it's anyone, in my opinion.
Or Paddy Madden.
Yeah, has he started the season? 1 goal in 4. Not playing.
He got 4 goals in 1 against us.
He got a hat-trick at Meadow Lane, didn't he?
Yeah,
the easiest hat-trick I'm going to get.
Yeah, I mean, he'll fancy himself definitely against us. But I do think Paul Cook he does like his sort of older pros, doesn't he? A bit. So that sort of is a bit of it's just one of those, isn't it? It's sort of the manager. Look, some of these players have been there and done it, at a good level, very good level. So you can't really knock that they're an aging squad. Look, they are getting on a bit, but they've got plenty less to give, I think, some of those players.
Yeah, they have. Araujo is obviously a good player on loan from Fulham at centre-back, 19 years old. Gordon at left back with them, 23 years old. So they have got that youth still in there. I really don't know how I feel about this game. I really, really don't know. I know I've just spoken about the home advantage for Notts not being something recently against the better teams. But I still would be more confident playing these at home, even though we've got the best away form in the league. I think. Do you remember the game? I think you were watching it because you were messaging me at the same time. The game where Chickson scored the winner in the National League season.
Yeah.
Jeff King got a red.
Yeah.
They battered us with 10 men.
They did, yeah.
And we should not have come away from that with a win. One of their players pulled it just wide with like 3 minutes to go.
Yeah.
It's a really, really tough place to go. Do you see any way that we play the same as against Port Vale? I think we're going to come out flying. I really do.
I don't know, to be honest. I don't want to go completely against what you say, but I don't feel like we can come out flying. Do you know what I mean?
I feel like we're silence them.
Yeah, I mean, I hope we do, but I don't know. I just feel like the way we build up, I don't know if we can come out flying. Do you know what I mean?
I'm just going to say, right, a lot of early chances against Port Vale, yeah? Scored early against Carlisle, came out flying against Gillingham. We're going to come out flying. It's as simple as that.
I hope you're
We're
right.
going to come out flying. Right. We are. I can feel it. I can literally feel it. No, but I think that would be a really good way. But I've been to enough of these Notts games where all of a sudden you're thinking, why are we soaking up so much pressure? And we are going to have to soak up pressure in this game. But I'm glad it's come at this point of the season rather than if we're fighting for something in after 35 games. I'm glad it's come at this point. I am. How many changes would you make? I know we're going to go on to the team in a minute. Or what not players-wise, but what would you want to add to the team that you didn't see from the start against Port Vale? Because I know I think we need to add straight away is pace.
Yeah.
More pace from the start. I think we have to see that if that's possible.
Yeah, for me, it's just decisiveness in the final third. I feel like we're lacking that cutting edge a little bit, I think players that set high standards of themselves earlier on in the season have sort of dropped off a little bit. So I'd like to see some of those players sort of pick up some good form again. But yeah, just for me, decisiveness in that final third, not being too safe with it. Obviously being composed, but taking the risk when you should do. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. What do you think to these two? What about that one first one? Two up front, away at Chesterfield. What do you think? I think there could be worse things to do.
Definitely could be worse things to do. Definitely.
I think, what about this one? Crowley further up. Crowley is a 10.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. He was very deep, wasn't he, against Port Vale?
Yeah. What about this one? Play Palmer with Abbott and let Crowley push further forward.
Yeah, I'd like to see that, yeah.
But I don't want... the first name on my team sheet is, and I don't want to lose this, is I'll guess. Who do you think the first name I'm putting on my team sheet is for that game against Chesterfield?
Alex Bass.
No, obviously he's going to be in there, but the first person I'm putting in there,
First person you're putting in there.
Chesterfield away.
Casper Sloth.
Why do you've seen me write that somewhere? You spoiled it.
Sorry, mate.
Go on. Who do you think? It's
Uh,
about to bite me big time.
It's going to be something a little bit out there. It's going to be a little bit out there. Is it a little bit out there?
It's been said in the comments. 2 people have said it in the comments. Don't have a look at the comments. Don't spoil yourself. Come on.
Robertson.
People saying Bass. Yeah, defo Bass. Yeah, I put Robbo in there, but you just looked down at the comments, didn't you? So you let yourself down. I put Robbo. Robbo has got to be in there.
First name on the team sheet.
Other than Bass, yeah. Okay. And obviously, I'm not saying he's a more important player than like Dan Crowley or Jatta, but he's got to play for me.
Okay.
You know what's going to happen? 3rd minute, straight red.
Yeah.
Or own goal, then a straight red. So come back and click this if you want. Get some views, I suppose, wouldn't it? Get some views.
Yeah.
He's got to play. He has to play. He's going to be influential in that midfield, I think. Mm-hmm. Since we've not got a Chesterfield fan in with us, and we can't really have that point of view from them of how they felt at Wembley. I mean, how they feel about the game on Saturday. Drop us any questions. Any questions you've got you want us to answer that we've not answered tonight, please drop them in. We'll try and answer a few. Always good when we do get time to answer a few of those questions. And then I'm going to mix up the lineup a little bit for me.
Really?
I might mix up a centre back as well.
Oh,
I might go for it. Big game, but I genuinely might. Someone said Gordon. Would I play Gordon? You'll have to wait and see. We'll wait and see about 5 or 10 minutes. So you never, ever know what's going to happen. I'm looking a little bit ahead now. How do you feel about the next few games? Wimbledon at home, Barrow away, Harrogate at home, Doncaster away. How many points? So let's say take the next 5. What are you expecting and what's acceptable? It might be 2 different numbers. Chesterfield away, Wimbledon home, Barrow away, Harrogate home, Doncaster away. What do you think's acceptable?
I'd say like 7, maybe.
7 points. Is it what?
No, what's acceptable? What's acceptable? Yeah, probably like minimum 8 or 9.
Yeah, I think we need 8. We need 8. I think we'll get
about 7, 6 or 7.
You said to me the other day, next 5 games, 14 points.
It's impossible.
That's what you said to me.
It's mathematically impossible.
You said 14. You said we'll get maximum and point deduction.
It's mathematically impossible.
Not if you get 5 wins and a point deduction. There you go. I think
boring, isn't it?
What, we're getting a points deduction?
Yeah, it's boring.
Why?
Just isn't it?
Imagine getting promoted with a 1 point deduction still. Be unreal. I think 9 points. Let's see what people think. Minimum 5. I'll be disappointed with 5, I think.
Of course you would, yeah, because that's a few losses in there as well, isn't it?
10 points for me is said. Well, it could be 5 draws. Mathematically possible. Mathematically
possible. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, exactly.
Mathematically
absolutely right.
Possible.
Mathematically
possible.
You're
right. Yeah.
Mickey says 8 points. Martin says 9 points, 2 wins and 3 draws. You see, 9 points without defeat, I'd be very happy with. I would be happy with that, to be fair. Jamie says next 4 games very hard, need at least 8 points. I think we'll get 4. I think you need 8, and I'm going with you. No, I'm not. I think we'll get 9. But there will be losses in there, I think. And I think we need to set our expectation that we're going to lose some games this season, definitely. Okay. Big one there from David. Obviously feeling really positive. He says 3 points. That's it, David. And they'll come against Harrogate, I think.
I think Dave needs to be a bit more. like mathematically precise there? Is it 1 win? Is it 3 draws? What is it?
Or is it 5 wins and a 12-point deduction? But anything's possible.
Come on, Dave. Let us know.
I need to know. Dave, where do we get those 3 points from? I think he says Wimbledon, Barrow and Harrogate draw. Chesterfield and Doncaster loss. 5 games, 11 points from Richard. Genuinely, if we got 3 points, I think there'll be a lot of unrest. There'll be a lot of unhappy fans if we got
Bed
3
sheets will be
points.
out.
Say again?
Bed sheets will be out again.
Yeah, well, they would. Can you believe the bed sheets were out after about 8 games from him? That was unreal,
Well,
that one. I wonder where they are now.
The results weren't there, though, were they, to be fair?
I wonder if they've been confiscated. The results weren't there. We lost 6 in a row, didn't we? But where have you kept their bed sheets anyway?
They're upstairs, mate, in the cupboard.
Are they?
Yeah.
That's madness. That's madness. You wrote them and then gave them to someone else. So they took the right. Right, let's go for the team then. Team to play Chesterfield. I'm going for
Bass in goal.
Bass in goal. Now, give me your back 3.
I'd go unchanged from Port Vale.
I wouldn't. I would go. Bedu has to start.
Yep, has to.
Platt has to start.
Has to.
Rob McDonald.
Okay.
I go Rob McDonald. Ian says, "Where's mascot cat and dog?" If you can't hear in the background, my cat's trying to get into the room. But
my partner's got him upstairs because
last week was horrendous.
Last week was brutal. He headbutted me twice. I was literally bleeding at the end of the video where he was biting me. It was horrible.
Yeah,
scary. I was fearing for my life.
It was actually. It was. I would go McDonald just for he's got minutes in his legs, experience. I don't think Macari would be capable, but I think McDonald would be a better shout. And you know what? If he's only got 60 minutes in him, fine. Then bring Macari on, who's he's good. Richard says agree back 3. Which back 3 are you going for? Which one is it, Richard? Right, then wing backs, George. Who are you going for? Because I think Srula had his best game on Tuesday night, and it was against
probably Srula and Gordon.
Yeah, I think it has to be. We need pace because if we're going to be penned in, we need pace. Midfield then. Midfield 3. I'm leaving out Robbo, I think. I've got to have Robbo's first in there.
First name on the team sheet.
First name on the team sheet.
You said first name on the team sheet, and then you said Bass.
Robbo. That's how I'd write it. That's how I'd spell it as well.
Nice. I'd probably say in my midfield would be Palmer, Robbo. Yeah. How many is that?
That's 2. Palmer and Robbo's 2.
So I need 3 more players to complete it. Yeah. Abbott.
Big game. Yeah.
And obviously Jack up top. And the last player is going to be Crowley.
Okay. I'm going to go Robbo, Palmer, Crowley, Didsey, Jata. If Didsy's fit.
Hamstring.
Yeah, hamstring strain. But if he's fit, he absolutely has to be in. Has to be in there. Austin, fully rested. Yeah, he's a player that can get up and down the pitch. We may need him, but I want to see a bit more from get Didsey on there. Ewan says Didsey and Jata up front with Palmer on the bench. Jeremy says Crowley, Abbott and Palmer. Chris says the Fat McDonald and Cerullo got those minutes on Tuesday. It means they won't start Saturday. I hope so. Yeah, but if Cerullo doesn't start, who's your wing backs? Gordon and Austin? Not for me. Maybe. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think so. Right, George, poll question then.
Poll question. It's that time. You nervous?
Not really, no.
Fair enough. Neither am I. What do you think the result would be on Saturday? Chesterfield win, draw, or a Notts win. 37%.
Go on.
37%. I think it's going to be a draw.
Okay.
26%. 26%. Chesterfield win.
Right.
Which obviously mathematically leaves 37%.
Mathematically possible.
Yeah.
What have you voted?
I'm with the 37%.
Which one?
Draw.
I think draw.
I think draw.
Come out of that with a win, unbelievable. Come out of that with a draw and a decent performance, it's okay. It's good. It's all right. And I'm sure Chesterfield fans, if they were coming to Meadow Lane, would be happy with a draw. I think just don't lose, because then then it's what, 1 win in 5.
I bet they really feel like they owe us one. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, 100%. And guess who's going to get them fully up for that game? Paul Cook. To be fair,
in the dressing room again, I reckon.
You reckon?
Yeah.
Went into the dressing room for the penalty shootout to get promoted. Why? Why would you do that? I can't watch. You've been in football long enough.
Probably needed a drink.
Probably did.
Bottle of water.
Adam would also take a draw. Richard thinks you need a strong physical presence. I think I've left Abbott out, but Abbott gets really stuck in. So Abbott and Robbo would be good. I'm just praying Robbo doesn't do anything to make me look silly, like get
proper rivalry players there, I think, Abbott and Robbo.
Yeah. Oh, I agree.
Stand up by a rivalry game.
Score prediction then. We've both gone draw, so we have to go for a draw here, unless we changed our mind, which means we wouldn't go with a draw. So there we go. That's cleared that up. I'm going to go Notts County to score 2 goals away at Chesterfield, and Chesterfield to score 2 goals at home to Notts County. 2-2.
Yeah, I'm going to say it's going to be a 1-1 draw.
Who scores and when?
Will Grigg for them. He's on fire. Or is he? I don't know. And Jatta for us.
Yeah. Did you hear that? Hear that door handle? Cat's trying to get in.
How big's this cat? Can he just
walk 9 kilograms.
All right. Do you know how heavy my dog is?
I'm going to say 2 kg.
Yeah, 2.4. Unbelievable. He had his final jabs on last Saturday, and in the morning. And 2.4. What's that all about?
That's nothing at all, is it? Let's be honest.
Pony, innit? It's pony.
Let's be honest. I'm going to say 2. I'm going to say the same that happened at Meadow Lane last year. I'm going to say 2 years ago. I'm going to say 2-0 to Chesterfield, and then we get back 2-2. Owain's going to be on fire when drops the edge of the box, and Robbo does it and pulls up his shirt to reveal a vest that says Pavis perspective. Pavis perspective.
It's going to say first name on the team sheet after Bass.
It's going to say Pavis perspective made me believe. That's what it's going to say. It's going to have a picture of me on it, like that.
That'd be horrifying.
It would be unreal.
Horrifying.
That would be unreal. Right. We've got 1-0. We've got 1-1. Don't say that, Bob. 2-0 Chesterfield.
Picture you eating chip shop beans. Imagine someone's watching that and they just don't understand the context of that.
We'd score and people would walk out because they'd see me eating chip shop beans. People stop celebrating. We've got Chris saying 3-1. Crowley direct from free kick. Jatta and Didzy off the bench to seal the win. We've got 2-2. We've got 1-0. 2-0. We've got a 1-1 draw. If we nick it, it would be amazing. We've got 2-1. We've got... If they'll load up. Being a bit slow loading up here. But we've got 1-1 from Pete. We've got 2-0.
Sounds like you're cat shouting in the score prediction.
He is.
What's he saying?
So don't be so cheeky. We've got 4-1 not. We've got 0-0. We've got another 2-0 for Notts. And Dave has just put 20. So I presume I'm going to go. The sensible thing says 2. That means 2-0 Chesterfield. I'm going. Oh no, he's put 2-0. 2-0 Chesterfield. Okay. Right then. That is. No. But I didn't know. But 2-0 Chesterfield. I hope you're wrong, David. I hope you're wrong. We'll see. That is the end of the Pavis perspective. Big game. Don't forget 12:30 kickoff. So don't arrive at Chesterfield's ground if you're going at 3:00 because it'll be over. So 12:30, wherever you're watching it or listening to it, or whether you're at the game, let's hope we get a victory. It would be fantastic. Richard said, "What's the cat called?" It's Scott Robertson. Could you imagine?
What do you mean?
Imagine that. Richard, I'll reveal that. I promise, Richard, I'll reveal that next week if we win. And you can hold me to that. But I'll open the show by revealing my cat's name if we win. Okay. We will have a video out straight after full time. It's all black and white episode. Let's hope it's a positive one. As always, please subscribe to the channel. Comment anything else after the video that you can think of. Great chat tonight. Really, really good comments. Really great to be interactive as well. And whether you go into the game, however you get in there, safe travels.